Hello, welcome back. Today we're painting a shark because it's Shark Week. And one of my patrons and channel member here on the studio, here on the channel, Dolphin Soul, reminded me, hey, it's Shark Week. Maybe paint a shark, because I was chatting in the studio break room, which is one of the channels on our Discord server, and I was like, what am I going to paint tomorrow? And she said, how about a shark? And so yeah, that's what we're doing. We're painting a shark. You saw it on the thumbnail before you clicked in on the video. I do have it already transferred. So I printed my reference photo, and this did not print as good as the actual reference photo. So I have the reference photo sitting here for me to look at on my phone, but we're going to paint a shark. Excuse me. And I told her, I said, I think his name is Bruce. And she said, but that's not a great white. And I was like, oh, well, then it's Bruce's cousin, Claude. Because when I looked, the reference photo is in the description below if anybody is looking for that. Thank you, Tara. And the photographer who shared this on Unsplash, it says that this is a shark that is in the aquarium in Paris. And so I said he's a French shark, and anyways, I named him Claude. So his name is Claude. Thank you, Joseph. Okay. All right. So we're going to get right to it today, because there's going to be some painting to be done. We're working, this is the last time we are working with our curated collection. My hair is going to drive me crazy because it was a busy morning. So after the shower, it just, yeah, this is it. This is what it does on its own. So the curls are everywhere, and it's hot as heck. We're going to get through it. And it's getting hotter in the studio already because all the lights have been on, and if it starts growing like exponentially during the stream, that's why I'm getting really hot, and that's what happens. Anyhow, we are going to paint this guy using the supplies from our current curated collection. I'm going to take you down on the desk so that we can see. There we go. What I have this taped on, because in our curated collection this time, we are using the Strathmore Vision watercolor paper. This is a 9x12 pad. I could have left it right in here. You see, I still have the, create your own cover page in there. I could have left it in here and just taped it off, but I wanted to be able to put it on something else and tape it off. And of course, I grabbed one of the chalkboards, the hard chalkboards that I share with you guys that I like to take my work to, and realized we're working much bigger this week. So this week we are working on a full piece of 9x12. So like I said, a lot of painting, we need to get to it. But what I did was I taped this down. I had one of my pads of my bee inspired watercolor paper. This is what I use a lot of times for swatching. This is not the bee cotton paper, so please don't be confused. The bee inspired is their cellulose paper. The bee cotton would be their cotton paper. But this one is very economical. 50 sheets in one of these, and you can get it at Walmart. You can order it online from Walmart. And last time I got them, I didn't realize, I thought $12 was a great price. I didn't realize I was getting 2 pads for that price. So yeah, I ordered 3 because I thought, well, that's a great price. I'll get 3 pads. No, I got 6. It was 2 in a package. I think a couple of you guys that I shared that with did it too. So anyhow, I got through one. And actually that was one that I had. I still have 6 sitting over there. But I'm not worried about it. That's what I paint the Adventures in Watercolor Land paintings on. At first I transferred this. I wanted it really light, and I was trying to decide, was I going to mask the shark out to paint the background or leave him? And so what I did at first, transfer him here, was I just printed out the reference photo, regular thin printer paper, and on the back I took one of my Carbothello pastel pencils and I marked the back. I figured this will be water soluble. It would also erase if I needed to erase it, and it was going to be light and it was going to match what I was doing. But then I thought, once I take that away, it's not going to be lined up. I won't be able to see through it. So I'm not going to be able to get it back if masking lifted it off. Because if you put masking fluid on top of this and then I were to lift it, you know, remove the masking fluid, it's going to take a lot of that with it. And then I wouldn't have my lines. And I didn't already have it on transfer paper. So, or tracing paper. So I couldn't see through it to line it back up. So that wasn't going to work. And then I did this with a, before I removed, so I could tape this down. Before I removed the reference photo, I put a piece of, I've used this many times. See, there's like quite a few things I've transferred in there. But I use that. I'm not really a fan of it. I would much rather put, and I have one in my car in Blick. I have not ordered it yet. I need to go ahead and place the order. The last time they did like the coupon with a purchase, I was going to check out and then I missed my opportunity, and that was the 4th of July. So anyhow, I would rather use a water soluble graphite stick and put that, okay, my hair cannot, it's attached. That was still attached. Anyways, I like to put that on the back of the paper to transfer because that's so much easier to erase than like that transfer paper. I do have my kneaded eraser here and I can lift some of this. He's going to be pretty dark though. So, I mean, all in all, I don't think that I'm going to have to worry about too much. These marks up here, because I was going to mask them out, and actually I was going to mask, like I said, I was going to mask the entire thing, but as I was sitting here last half hour before the stream, I thought, you know what, no, first I transferred him darker because I was going to put the masking on and I figured the masking would lighten that and it would be perfect. But then I was like, no, I don't have time for all that to dry. And it is what it is. So you see how this doesn't, I mean, it will lighten it up some with the kneaded eraser, but it never quite brings that down like where I would want it. And there's my eraser. And one of these, when I do that, see, even that doesn't get it too light. And this paper, I don't want to take a big eraser like that too, because it says this is a cold press texture, but if you got this one this month, I just have to say that as I've been painting on it for these projects, I am not as big of a fan as I hoped I would be with this paper. So, yeah. Chelsea says, not used to Clark Fine Art with her hair down. Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't, because I mean, you see like the curls, they just like stick out and they go wherever they want. I was telling them on Discord earlier, because I was talking to Dolphin Soul, had actually asked me like, what does your hair look like when it's down? Like, we never see you with your hair down. Like, my hair is red and it's very, very, very curly, but it's not like those really nice spiral curls. No, my hair is just as ADHD as I am. Like, the curl will come down, start to go one way, be like, oh look, squirrel, turn off the other direction, then wing back this way. They go like wherever they want to go. Wildflower, I don't know about that, but it is pretty long. I'm like, now that it's down, like I'm leaning in my chair and I'm like, it's pulling behind me, because my hair is actually like, it is, if I fully extend my hand, my hair is still longer than my fingers when like my arm is like fully extended. So it is very long. Normally that's why it's braided up or put back, and definitely, you know, who knows, it may end up getting wrapped up there today too, because it gets hot. And I wasn't hot, I was fine. But like I said, you get in the studio and turn on these lights and close that door so that Tuka's not obnoxious while we're recording. Tuka is my son Conyer, for anybody who's going, what are we talking about? All right, I think that's about as light as I'm going to get it, and that's going to, you know, it's going to be fine. You guys can still see it. It's there. I should be able to see it through the blues that we're going to do for the water, and that my hair is just going to get all on my paper. Like, you can't even pull it back because you move your arm and it's still wrapped around you. Okay. Says hair of a mermaid. I don't know. So when Oh yeah, it was big jokes, lots of laughs with my family when Disney released the movie Brave, because Merida on Brave, the female character that has the red, crazy, wild, foofy, curly hair. Yeah, that was it. Wait till she gets her paint in her. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen. Hopefully not, but I have plenty of paintbrushes. It can get wrapped up and it'll stay. This is not a problem. We are moving along. So I used the Bee Inspired watercolor paper. That's what I started to, I don't know if I finished that train of thought. So forgive me, guys. I'm glad you all put up with the random diversions. So the back of the pad, the Bee Inspired watercolor paper really has a very thick chipboard at the back of it. I love it. I always save them. So that's what we're taped down to today. We're just taped down to that. And I'm just like, even my face is, I can see my face is getting red. I'm like, it is getting hot. Okay. So here we go. In my butcher's tray from the last project we did, which was the video I released on 4th of July. So last Thursday when I wasn't streaming, I had the colors in here. Some of the colors, because we used a pretty limited palette there. We're going to be even more limited today because in the reference photo, and if I switch this up, let's see if I can come over here. There's our reference photo. So when we look at that, there are like, it's blue. There's lots of blues. And for our curated collection this time, of course, we're working with the Hydrus liquid watercolors from Dr. P.H. Martin's. And the colors that I chose today are these four. So we have the cobalt blue, and I'm like, I think I chose every one that didn't have it printed, like the pigments printed on the side of it. There were only a few in my set that didn't have it. Normally they're all printed. Like this right here, it says pigment brown 7, light fast 1. Usually they all have them on the labels. Those are the only 3 that didn't, and it happens that I picked those 3 for today. However, all right, I just had it. It's my Daniel Smith chart. I'm looking at I keep all my, I literally had it on top. I had it 2 minutes before the stream. So all of my charts from like all my paint brands, I keep them usually pretty handy because just for this moment, when I need to tell you what something is. And I don't know how it has literally run away. I literally just had it out. I didn't put it up. Oh goodness. I stood it up so it would be, so it wouldn't be in the pile and I'd be able to find it. I'm like, what am I dropping? Okay, we're good. We're good. So the Dr. P.H. Martin's, this I got from their website. This is the pigment and light fast information. Now their Hydrus line is light fast. The, oh my goodness, the Radiance line is not. It's dye based and it is not light fast. But the Hydrus line definitely is, and you will see these aren't too bad. It's been a week since I've used them, but they haven't settled. Sometimes they'll settle and you will see like it'll get lighter. You'll see like pigment like on the sides here, right there. You see some? There's like actually some right there. All you do is shake that up. Heather said, Heather must have just missed that part. Heather said, did you use a light box to be able to get the outline of the shark? He is dark. Literally, Heather, I just took my kneaded eraser and lightened him. If you're referring to these lines, but did I use a light box? No, I didn't. I do have one. I didn't even think of that. Honestly, I did not even think of that. It's in my closet. And so for me, out of sight is out of mind. I forget I have one half the time. What I did was I printed him out on just a little thin floppy piece of printer paper. I put some Carbothello pastel pencil on the back at first because that's what I thought I was going to use. I traced over our shark. Then I decided I was going in a different direction, so I just grabbed a piece of tracing or transfer paper and handy dandy pencil, went around him. There it is. That's what we're doing. I was going to mask him out with masking fluid. So the PBO drawing gum will be listed in the description below. I think I'm just going to mask out these little spots of water right here where that's like the brightest white highlight in our reference photo that you see up here. And not a problem. So I'm going to do that in a second. Actually, I'm going to do that right now because then that will dry while I'm telling you about their pigments, because we are going to have to get cranking on this one. I think the background, I'm going to have to really be on myself not to fuss too much with the water because I will want to. Okay, so I just use these tools. These are listed in the description below. I do have a link. Oh, I just got a spot of masking on him, so I have to make sure I take that off. And I love these for applying my masking. This is just where I want the water to stay white. I don't have to follow my little outline here perfectly. This does not take long to dry. I want to make sure I stay right to the edge of his fin, his dorsal fin there. I am not even going to begin to make pretend that I know shark anatomy, because I don't. So I called it his dorsal fin. That's what I probably will call it. And, you know, if I'm not correct, that is fine. I will not try to make up names for his anatomy. I always store mine upside down. And so anything that sticks in there, usually I can just pop it right out with this guy. I love these silicone tools for my masking fluid. Get masking in my masking in my hair rather. That'll be fun. But I love these because they clean off so easily. Like that can just dry and it'll just wipe right off of that. Okay. Clearly I don't have a latex allergy, because this is just for everybody who may be allergic. This is natural latex. So if you have a problem, you don't want this. And you hear that? I keep glass beads in mine. I've shared that many times. And the glass beads keep the masking fluid filled up to the top and prevent a lot of air space from being in here. And it just keeps my masking from hardening. And this lid just like doesn't want to, if I turn too much, it'll loosen again. So I just leave it and I store it upside down. It's just the way I do it. Okay. And that just wipes right off. And it's perfectly clean, and I didn't ruin a brush. So I love those. They come in a variety of shapes at the ends, and yeah, they're in the description. We're just going to take that off of him. There we go. I could have masked out the little highlight in his eye. I could have done that, but we're going to use our Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White for any final, like the highlight in on his eye, and it won't be pure white. If I need to do anything with the water, it'll be Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. Now, on the reference photo, there are some really bright whites like out here. There are just a couple dots. I don't care for that. I think it's going to detract from our guy here. I don't mind the white being right there. And then there's much lighter from our water that's right here behind him. And that's where I want the focus to be. So you're not going to see me put bright white highlights out here. I'm not going to do it. Just put my artistic license in my back pocket this morning and I'm going to use it. All right. So the pigments for Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus 13H to 24H. That's what is in set 2. From 25H to 36 is set 3. And of course from 1 to 12 is set 1. Okay. We're using Payne's Gray. And if you saw the last video, as far as I'm concerned, this is like an indigo color. This does, excuse me, does not to me look like a Payne's Gray. That's what they're calling it, so we're gonna let them have it. But Payne's Gray has got PBK 7, PB 15, PR 170, and PR 269. Those are your pigments that are in here. I considered using burnt sienna because, you know, I like to mix blue and burnt sienna to make a gray. However, for whatever reason, Dr. P.H. Martins felt that their burnt sienna needed to include 5 pigments. A yellow, 2 reds, a violet, and a blue. I don't want to bring yellow into this painting. I am not using that one. So I decided against it. Instead, I chose the sepia for my other color to darken with my blue. And that one just has PBR 7, which is what I would have expected from, I don't know, burnt sienna. But I digress. They can do what they want. I've had other things with these too because their ultramarine blue is not ultramarine. It's PB29. How that would not have been difficult, but no, the ultramarine blue that is in the set number 1, it's PB15 and PV19 to make that ultramarine blue. I was like, I didn't get it. Not a fan of that. I think set 3 is actually my favorite when it comes to the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus line, because set 3 actually has like 9 single pigment colors. I've done a video on them, so if you're interested, you can check that out. But yeah, I think set 3 is my favorite set. Of all of them, I have to say that I think this set that we're using this time, set 2, after having used them for this past, month or how long it's been, I think this is my least favorite set. But again, like Viridian, PY3 and PG7. Viridian is PG18. Like, why? I don't understand. Anyways, doesn't matter. That's what they used. And so we're doing that. And the cobalt blue is the other one. And cobalt blue is PB15, PG7, and PV19. Our alizarin crimson is, okay, so again, I'm bringing yellow in regardless because I didn't even double check the alizarin crimson, and the other one, the other red is not, it's not going to work if I end up using this at all, because I was wondering if I want to do like right on the top of the shark where his highlight is, it actually looks kind of like purple. So I was considering bringing a little bit of the red from the alizarin crimson into like the cobalt or the Payne's Gray to see if we could get a nice purple that we could lighten up to do that highlight on the top of our shark. So we're going to see, but alizarin crimson, just for you all to be aware, is PY83, PR 170, PR 269, and PR 122. And I have to wonder, is that a typo? Is it PY83 or is it PR? Which would be, the fugitive alizarin crimson that we just talked about on a recent Monday Mix. So I don't know, but that's what it says. I have this on my palette. It is right here. This is what I put out from last time. So if these don't reactivate the way that I want to, you may see me put out some new drops, and that would be why. So there is our Payne's Gray. Here is our cobalt blue. I am not even going to need that green. So I'm going to clean that part of the palette off. This masking should be just about dry. When we dive in and start painting this background, the background's going to go quick. You're also going to see, I'm going to grab, I've shared these with you before. This is a corner that comes in packaging. So I got a box in the mail. The corners were reinforced. These are pretty thick. I have one that I leave just like this for when I want to put something up higher. And when I just want to slightly elevate my board, I will, because I cut that, I put it like that, and then I just set my board on top. that allows gravity to let my paint move downwards on my painting. This paper, while I'm cleaning off my palette here, I don't need those greens. It says cold press, but this is, as far as cold press goes, it is not. It's the smoothest cold press paper I've ever used. For those of you who got this collection, you'll have to let me know what you think of it. I think the paper's bad. I would definitely use it. I would really be curious if anybody got it and also does colored pencil work. Maybe they like it better for that. It has a tiny bit of tooth, but still, cold press, I don't think so. All right, I'm going to double check chat and we are going to get rolling on this. And I didn't get to say hi to everybody yet. So, let me see. Oh, I did post a deal alert at the very beginning and I pinned it. So it's pinned in chat. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I've shared it. I shared this over on Discord for all of the super fans. Oh my gosh, I bet. Do not get that all over my sketchbook. I had paint like all over my finger and my nail. Okay. So I had shared these over on Discord. I cannot even see my monitor. Like if I look up, I can't see. I need the glasses for right here, but I can't, not that far away. Anyhow, these are little sketchbooks. I've shared them a couple times. Like when this one went on sale, and look at it. It had the little animals on it. These are like a 5x5 sketchbook. It's got watercolor paper. It's a cellulose paper. It is 140 pound. 300 GSM. The paper is, I mean, it's very decent. I know I had reached out to Shanna Rowe Jackson, Caution Artist at Play here on YouTube, and asked because she had gotten one of these type before, and I said, these are the Mifune, and I was like, how did you like it? She actually said she liked it, so I went ahead and I got one, and then I got another one. And then the Alice in Wonderland one recently went on sale, and I was like, how could I not get that one? It's wonderful. I absolutely love the cover. These will, once you start using this and you're opening and closing it, they will actually lay flat. And you can see the texture there. I don't know if you guys can see it, if it's picking it up. Let me make that reference photo go away for a moment so I can get this near the light. Can you see the texture here? So they say that there's different texture, like front to back, but not by much at all. It's almost the same front and back of the paper. If one side is slightly smoother, it's only slightly. Both sides, even the smoother side, is more coarse, like has more tooth than, or texture than this cold press. So, and these are cold pressed. But yeah, so there are 20 pages, 40 sheets, if you count front and back. If you work that way, I think you absolutely could work front and back. I plan on taking one of these with me this weekend and hopefully catching up on World Watercolor Month, because I don't even want to discuss how far behind I am. Okay, so I want to share that with you because there's a great deal going on. It's a different pattern. It's got flowers and cats, and I know a lot of you are cat people. So I thought that might be something that you would like to check out. So hello, Cadmium Red Pharaoh Kitten, and Tara Giblin is here. Hi, George Pencil Art and Heather Bryant. The other Tara is here. Hello, Tara. Art of Joseph Fincham. Hi, Bo Peep. I love the name. Ian Jackson is here. Hello, Ian. And George Pencil Art. George is getting his snack. Jacqueline Turbot, I'm glad you made it. Did anybody, let me see. Did anybody else say volume was low? It's looking like it's good on my end. Hopefully, like I didn't pay attention. I didn't catch that earlier. Okay. Like rebel hair, all this stuff about the wild and crazy hair. Karen, hi Karen. Karen Montoya, Paints and Crafts. Hello, welcome. I love seeing new names popping in the chat. Okay. Wildflower says I only make gray when I'm trying not to. We'll have to learn you that one so you can make it when you want to. Wildflower says 2 Terra Thursday. Yeah. Yeah, what George said. Don't forget to hit that like button. Are you guys excited about Shark Week? Do you like get into Shark Week? Is that something that you guys follow? Oh my gosh. Wow. And Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, is that for the bee paper that I just showed you? The bee inspired paper? Or the bee cotton paper? I like the bee cotton paper as well. I use the 90 pound and the 140 pound. And as long as when I will turn the 90 pound into a block, I've shown you guys how I make blocks before, and I will turn that into a block, and then I love it because I can paint on that. It'll take the water, even though it's thinner paper, and it will dry. And as long as I leave it attached to my block to dry, it'll dry back down flat. So I love it. Oh my gosh, she says yes. Did I have the bee paper linked? I don't recall. Joseph would have to look, or you guys can look. The bee inspired watercolor paper. If it's not, it's always linked in my Monday Mix videos. That's a link to Walmart. Yeah, we get it from Walmart.com. And I don't know if you can order from Walmart over there in Australia, Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, but they have the best price on it for us here. And that's why I always put their link in the descriptions. So I have my board slightly elevated, and I will share with you the reason for that. I have the add-on. They were the add-on set last time. They are still the same add-on set this time. So our 3/4 inch angled shader, our size 4 round, our 3/4 wash, and our size 8 long round. These are in the add-on set, or these come as a set, and the Princeton Velvet Touch. So you have those sizes available. I also have my size 10 round that was from the second curated collection. The first curated collection, we had the medium brushes. And then of course, our curated collection this time comes with the size 6 round. I'm definitely going to be using him for some of my details. If I might need my size 4 round when I do some of this, but honestly, those points, these hold their points so well. I might not need to at all. Okay, I'm going to set the colors aside. I do have a spray bottle. I forgot to get more water in it. Hopefully I have it. Yeah. Okay, all my bottles need water. Like this one is empty. This one is about empty. And well, this one has some in it. This is my favorite misting bottle. I know I've sent a few of you that are patrons. I've sent those to a few some time ago. They're my favorites. I love those. I think I sent one to Joseph too. All right, are you guys ready? Are we more than ready? I'm gonna have to put like a timestamp. If you're just here for the replay, jump into this point and miss all the chatter. All right. Oh, the link is it's too long for the chat, but it is linked in the description. This one, or if it's linked in the other video, you can always check that video out. It's linked in every Monday Mix video. So there you go. My red mechanical pencil. Are you talking about the one I shared over on Discord? This guy? And this guy? This is what I use to sharpen it. I love this thing. I've shared these over. I shared them on Discord recently. This is an old Koh-i-Noor lead holder. There's not much of this lead left, but you can like put that out, and you can still get lead holders like this. And I just set this in here, and I go around, and these, you can find these gems on eBay. I know that they're still there. that puts a point on it like nobody's business. This was actually, my dad was an engineer and used this in his daily work doing like technical drawings and such. And yeah, he gave that to me. That's like one of my favorite things in the studio. Okay, let's get in it. We're going to start. We're going to wet our background. I'm not going to worry about my shark. Okay, if we look at our reference photo, and there he is again. Yeah, yes, you're correct. Wildflower, look where they sell drafting supplies. But they sell those lead holders. They sell them on Amazon. Nick Pro sells them, and Mr. Penn has some. I have a bunch because, you know, if you noticed, that one says HB. It has HB on the little, yeah. Well, hey, look, Shark Week. But in here, you'll see, like, I couldn't just have one. No. I have a bunch. So this is like the Nick Pro, and whatever lead you put in there, you can like adjust it so it shows it on there. And then they have like the little holes in the end, and that right there is actually, you would take this off, and you would, when you put the lead out, you would put it in that hole, and that is a sharpener. You can sharpen it that way. So yeah, there's some that but the Nick Pro, I like the ones that have, you see the silver down here, these are heavier, like not quite as heavy as my Koh-i-Noor, but again, I mean, Dad used this for decades, and that was over a decade ago, so that's probably like 30 years old, but it's older than me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, it's not. But yeah, so I have like all the different leads. So when I want to sketch, in each of these, this one actually has a sharpener in the tip too, right there. So that's what those holes are for. Yeah, this is my little graphite sketching set. I have a compass there for, actually, that is a set of dividers. Like if I was trying to like transfer something and do the scale of something, if I was just drawing it freehand, right? Because like you can check the reference photo and then come back to your drawing and make sure that you're correct. And of course I have a kneaded eraser and a regular eraser, and yeah, that's my little graphite set. That red Koh-i-Noor goes in this when I take that with me and draw. So none of that's linked in the description below, but you can use a link and find all of that on Amazon. So I hope that helps. They do have those. Excuse me. They are still available to get, and I think there's even a Koh-i-Noor that you can still get too. And I think Stedler makes one also. So there you go. Okay. We have to move. We have to get going. Yeah, see, the other Tara says, I love my Koh-i-Noor lid holder. I have a short red one. Well, there you go. All right, so for this, if you are painting along, you are probably like, can we get it going already? Yes, we can. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the reference photo down for now. If we need to look at it again, I can put it back up. But for now, so you guys can see what's going on here. Hi, Michelle. And hi, Lily. All right. So I am using my 3/4 wash Princeton Velvet Touch. If you don't have 3/4 wash, don't worry. It's fine. Would I want to paint this whole background with just that 6 round from our curated collection? No, absolutely not. Okay, this is watercolor. If you want a nice, smooth wash in your background, you are using the biggest brush possible. I'm not using this guy. I mean, really, I would prefer if I wasn't using just the supplies from the curated collection today. You guys would probably see me grab something like this, because we really need to get in here. And that is one of the things I love about these liquid watercolors, is they are very easy. excuse me, they are very easy to make big puddles to do really big, quick washes. Yeah, my straw wanted to leak on me. It's just classy. It's all class. You never know what's going to happen here on a Thursday, folks. Oh my gosh. Speaking of Thursdays, we will be here next Thursday. I am going to just wet my background. I just want this whole thing wet. That masking is plenty dry now. I've just taped off my edges. I want this to be able to, because this is 9 by 12, I'm thinking like a 8 by 10, right? An 8 by 10 matte in an 11 by 14 frame. This would be a big one. And you don't have to do it this big. You, of course, can scale him down and make him smaller if you would like. And I started to say something and I had interrupted myself. This paper is just sucking up the water today. This is like, I just want to take my water and just pour it on there. Yay, all right, Lila, you found it. Well, if you're subscribed and have the notifications turned on, which I know you're subscribed because you're chatting with me live, so thank you for that. But if your notifications are on, it should tell you when I go live, which, oh, that's what I was going to start saying, which normally is every Thursday at 3 p.m. However, and Joseph, I will get with you and Tara one-on-one, let you know what exactly is going to happen with my schedule. Because in 2 weeks, my schedule will be changing, and 3 o'clock is not going to be able to be my, I love the 3 o'clock time slot, but it's not going to be able to be my time slot in 2 weeks. I'm going to have to change it. I am still looking to have, you see, I am like really wetting this, but you can see on the side here, none of this water is running down the page yet. So it's just the paper getting really soaked. And that is another thing about this Strathmore Vision paper for watercolor. I'm like, all it does is keep absorbing and sucking it in. It's definitely, it's not my favorite paper, guys. Beyond this collection, I don't know that I would probably use it for something else. I bet it'd be wonderful for gouache. Oh, I bet it would be so good for gouache. But anyhow, yeah, so we're still getting it wet. It's a little puffed up, but just a little, you guys, if you can see. But I'm not worried about it returning flat. So yeah, in 2 weeks time, 3 o'clock will no longer be my time here on YouTube. I'm still going to be streaming with you every week. That is not going to change. And I think it'll still be on a Thursday, but I might have to do it in the evening time. So it might end up needing to be, right now I'm looking at maybe 6 o'clock Eastern time. So like a 6 to 8 kind of time slot where it wouldn't be too late, or possibly a 7 to 9. But I know at that point I would not expect to see, you know, Tara in our live chats at that point, because she's 5 hours ahead of us. Other Tara's 5 hours ahead of us too. Even at the 6 o'clock, I'm asking you to stay up past 11 and hang out with us. I don't know, maybe you're a night owl already and you're like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. But I absolutely understand if you might not be able to be here all the time. And Joseph, I will get with you. So I'll let you guys know next week, because I'll have my decision made by next week. I was considering changing my day altogether. Looking at my cobalt blue, that should be this one. I just put that in my clean water. Oh well. I guess my clean, I'm going to have to go backwards this time. My clean water is going to be on my left. It's going to so mess me up. All right. So I have watered this down a little bit, and we're just going to come in with this cobalt blue. I really want that to be lighter still. So you see, I just more water, get that even lighter. Now this paper's still wet, so you can see right? You can see that shine. Even that is just like, we're almost at matte, and I want it to stay really, really wet. Marty, hi Marty. Marty says, I'm a night owl. Yeah, the Tara's, for both the Taras to be here, because we have Tara from Mod Tara from Ireland, and other Tara from Scotland. So yeah, so Cadmium Red Feral Kitten, it should be like your, I would think your midday, right? Because isn't this like first thing in the morning for you right now? So okay, first thing we're going to do is come in with some of this cobalt. And again, oh, I grabbed my 10 round. You see that? Because like I said, that's 6. You don't want to do it with that. I could even have done it with this one. Probably would have been better. Like I said, if this wasn't, and see, this is so blue. Cool blue. Our shark is like a warmer blue. I don't know how much I like that, but I want this to be really light, and I'm actually going to rinse that out. It's probably best if you watch then paint. And I will put a timestamp after the stream when it lets me get into edit, because it has to process video, and then once it processes the video, it usually lets me go in and edit and do things like drop in stuff at the end screen for those of you who are watching on the replay, and you know, things like that. So I don't mind that this is light. Again, it's tipping this. I want this to flow down. The rays of light are going to be coming down from our lightest areas that are back here. So I'm going to come back in, and I can paint right over my shark. That doesn't matter. You may see me like kind of avoid him somewhat, but not going to overly avoid. I want this a little bit warmer. It's really not the blue I want. So this is the Payne's Gray. And if I put the Payne's Gray here, look at that. It is quite the warm blue. And I'm just going to mix a little bit of that in. So just a touch of the Payne's Gray in with our cobalt. We're going to see what that does. I want it light though. We do want it light. When we come back, and I will leave this for like when I do my, that's what I'm going to do. When I do like the waves, when we put in the darker colors. So still very wet brush. Right, we're gonna come back. This is like drying so quickly. We have a very light area here. Now, this has PB15. That is a phthalo. Phthalo is very staining. I don't want to leave that on this space for too long. In fact, I'm just going to kind of lift some of that out. Right here is where it's very light. If I lift with the, just like doing a cloud, if we look at our reference photo, when I lift that space, see, it's kind of cloud-like right there behind them. So I can go through, I'm grabbing my mop. Guys, I'm just grabbing a big old quill brush, right? A giant mop. I want this sucker to really suck up some of this water and really get this wet. This is so, this paper's like a sponge. I don't care for it. See how I just take it right up? Doesn't matter. There we go. Nice and wet again. That thing will take forever to dry too. You never see me use that. It's a monster. All right. Around our edges, it's darker. Right? And now here, I'm going to bring up. Down here, I'm going to focus on pulling upwards. Again, I'm not worried if I get some in that space of my shark. And I have this tipped because if I pull up like this, well, I don't want to put it on my shark like that. But if I pull up like this, gravity's going to bring it back down. Right? So it's gonna come back downward. So I'm not worried about pulling it in. Everything's coming to this from this location, right? It's coming out from, there's actually a light spot here. I'm just gonna pull out, and it's coming down. It's not coming out from a central location, but it's coming down. Right? It's coming down from this general area. And I'm doing that because we have those like streaks. Lighter. There we go. This is not our darkest blue value. And as we come over here, this is lighter over here. Again, my shark's going to be much darker. And here I just kind of, I don't want to necessarily see those strokes. I want like that even, kind of like an even wash that's lighter. It definitely is not even close to being dark enough yet. Look at how much darker and cooler that water looks on the reference photo. All right, wait a minute. I'm like, hold on. Somebody give Rob a pass. Oh my gosh. A 6-foot bull shark in the lake. That's crazy. Lake Punch Train. We've been having severe thunderstorms warnings too, Jacqueline. I know that you are just up there in Canada, just a bit to the north of me. I'm grabbing a touch of that alizarin. There we go. I'm just warming that blue up a little bit because, yeah. And I'm going to just come in here and lay some of that in. Remember this water? You see, I am like kind of going left to right, and I'm going to leave some of those light spots because they very much exist in our reference. And when we get out here, it gets much darker. You definitely want this to be wet and wet, and hopefully my paper has absorbed enough water now that it will stay wet for a bit. I'm going to still come back through. You see, and we're just back and forth. Leave some of that the light space. I'm not going to worry about painting over the shark right now. Definitely having a touch of that alizarin crimson brought in here and a touch of the Payne's gray. That's much better blue. And this is going to be like really dark here. We're probably going to darken that up even more. There's not a lot of lighter highlights over here, so I'm going to put this in because I know that that is going to dry lighter. I can come back and darken it up even more. I don't see on this side of my reference photo a lot of lighter space. It's much darker there. Sorry, I'm like trying to keep an eye. My phone is sitting right off to the side with the reference photo on it so I can keep kind of watching. And I don't need this to look exactly the same. I just want it to be similar, right? It's not going for photorealistic. I'm going for photo similar, and that is perfectly fine for me. If you want to paint all of these waves absolutely photorealistic right down to the very little ripple, you absolutely can. You take all the time that you want on this. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I am perfectly happy with photo similar. All right, I'm just gonna still leave a few of those, but again, it gets darker off to this side. This is my, when you see me come up here, which is like under where I am, this is where the Payne's gray is. So I'm tapping that Payne's gray. That is not, these are not liquid fresh from the jar. I would not be dabbing like that into this color if that was liquid. If you are just putting yours on your palette, I would absolutely be very careful and just pull a little bit to the side. These have dried, so I am like reactivating that. And so that also helps answer any questions that people have about, can they reactivate? Yes, you can reactivate them. I find if it's a bigger puddle, they're easier to reactivate and it works just fine. So that's going to be nice and much darker now. I'm going to put a little bit more of that over here because, yes, that's what I want to see. Now this is where, like, when I want to do some of these, I could grab my 3/8 angle shader. If you've got the add-on, you have these brushes. If you don't, you can just use what you have. All right, just dipping in water. I'm coming over here on a different spot on my palette because I just want to lighten this up just through this area. And again, my board is still on an incline. Move that aside so I'm not banging it. Right? We're making the difference between, here's the surface water behind him because his fin is like almost breaking the surface. So here's the surface of the water, and here, right, this is where our water is deep behind him, like down. It's coming down. My chat stopped scrolling. Oh my gosh, tornado warnings in upper New York. No. So yeah, cadmium red feral kitten says that attacks are common where she is. Of course, she's in Australia, and I'm sorry, I'm like, it's like, it makes me think of you have the great whites, right? Do the great whites end up there? When I say end up there, like I don't know if they have like migratory patterns, whatever. Again, I'm not up on sharks. I'm just painting a shark from a picture today. But when we go to Cape Cod, especially when we go to like Chatham, all right, that needs to be lighter. I'm putting dark where I don't need dark. Hold on a second. Just grabbing my size 10 round. Because this area right here, underneath him, is actually, and I'm going to lift a little bit of that off on him. It's actually light. Right? There's some lighter areas there. Again, going with for the water with my big old brush to really get this wet because it's drying. And I'm just pulling down so that if I disturb any of that paint I already put down, it is going to bring it the way I want it to go. I was like, that almost looked like the paper pilling right there, and that's like not okay. Again, like I said, this would not be my choice for blasting with a ton of water in the future. I would absolutely stick to my Meeden 100% cotton paper. That is definitely my favorite. But when we go to Cape Cod, it gets darker over here. So when we go to Cape Cod, there are warnings for the great whites. Like when you go to Chatham Beach, there's actually lots of signs that say danger because there's a large seal population there. And, you know, circle of life and all. I don't want these hard lines, so just coming in with the water. And if I want it to be lighter, we're gonna kind of just want this little cloudy looking. Just move that around a bit. Told you, I know that I'd be like, I'm gonna fuss with the background too much. Like the background's gonna disappear. Once we put this shark on here, it's gonna be like, wow. And the background's just gonna fade away. So I'm gonna pull a little bit more through. I can even bring this like right up to here where I'm gonna put some of these marks. I'll check chat again in a moment. I just really want to get this on here darker so it can set and I can stop running my brush over this paper. My Payne's Gray, touch of that alizarin, a little bit more of that cobalt. Because over here is actually really quite dark. He's still going to be darker than that. It does get lighter towards the middle. Again, just dabbing more water because I knew what I was about to put off my brush was going to be a little dark. And you see I cooled that off a little bit right there to that blue. I'm going right off my tape when I come down. Okay. I just want to darken up. This is even darker. I'm just going to put in some darker spots. Right at this point, I'm dabbing. I'm trying not to pull my brush across too much. I'm going to mist this paper because I don't want to bring my brush over it, and I want this to be still be damp up here when I come back in. So just misting, and it's just going to put more texture. It's fine. When I keep reaching that way, I'm grabbing a little bit of that alizarin. Looking for there's where his comes down. There we go. Hopefully when I get that dry, I'll be able to see that fin. Back here needs to be a little bit lighter. I'm going to lighten that up in a moment. Actually, it might just be fine. This I want darker. Seriously, get darker. When it doesn't, that's where like the sepia can come in, and now I can go even darker. Right, it's just over here on this side where it's fine. Again, nobody's going to see my, when they look at my picture, they're going to be looking at it based on the painting. They're not, unless I show them, oh look, here's the picture I painted, right? They're not going to be looking at your picture as well. So don't let that stress you out too much. Okay, I'm going to touch up a couple spots up here because I don't like where those, how those lines are. So they shouldn't be like that. And for that, I'm just going to take my size 10 round. Now I have a piece of tissue in my hand. And then as soon as I get to this point where I can pause for a moment to let this stuff dry, I will go through chat. I paused the chat on my side, so I hopefully won't miss anything then. See, I'm getting, you can see the speckles right there. That's a little bit of pilling with my paper, which I am not a fan of. This paper sucks up so much water, and then you have to try to put as little brush strokes across your paper as you can, because if you don't, you're going to pill your paper. All right, I think that, I'm just going to let that be. Again, my shark is darker, so I'm not worried about that. There we go. Okay. And dabbing just kind of like clouds, because again, if we look at our reference photo, it's kind of what this area starts to look like right there. And we're going to make sure that we're leaving that light. But now I want my smaller, I'm going to 3/8 angled shader, because I'm going to put in a little bit. We need more darks. This doesn't have enough darks in it. But I don't want that great big brush. So a little bit of my Payne's Gray. I had a little bit of my alizarin and a little bit of my cobalt. All right. Out here is darker. So you can certainly see this is still very much wet and wet. So these are going to kind of spread, move around. I'm going to turn that back off again so you can see what I'm doing in the corner. Here's the surface of my water, this area along here. Now that I've worked some of that paint out of my brush, I'm working towards the center where it's lighter. Again, this part is very much, it's much, much lighter. Very, very bright over here still. Dab that up just a tiny bit. All right, I want a little bit of that, but not too dark. So phthalos are staining. I can just dab, still shows up. All right. So we're just focusing on like a little left to right. Again, I don't need to be perfect to the reference photo. And I'm going to leave, I have some of my brightest, like my lightest lights. I'm going to leave those, and I'm going to leave some of those mid values there too. Not covering everything. Where it was darkest, like that gradually starts to get lighter. That's going to be, we're going to remove that, and we're going to have our brightest white highlight come back. We've got lots more light starting in this area, getting very bright here. Now once we put our shark in and he's darker, what kind of time? Okay, just checking my time, because I have to dry this background before I can start painting that shark, because this paper is wet. All right, there we go. We're starting to get the surface of our water. Hi, Caution Artists at Play. I just mentioned you earlier. I was talking about those little watercolor books, little watercolor journals, the Mifuner ones. I shared, it's in that my pinned post, that they have one that's on sale right now. It's like red and tan flowers. with kittens on it. All right, are we starting to look like we're looking up through the surface of the water here? I hope so. And again, actually over here, it's like a bit, again, like that side, it's a bit darker, so I'm not going to worry about filling that stuff in. I still have to catch up. Like I'm seeing, like I see the chat on YouTube, so I see things scroll. But then my software pulls the chat in. That's how I can like share things you guys say on the screen. And that is not moving. So I know where I last looked. So hopefully I won't forget or miss anybody's comments. Hopefully. I try not to miss your comments. Right? I want that to diffuse. I don't want a hard, I touched it in the wrong spot. I can definitely say that this 3/8 shader, of course, it's much smaller bristles. There's not a lot of flex in this brush. It would definitely be a good one if you needed to like scrub up or lift something. That's for sure. Okay. We're going to give this a dry, I think, and see. I'm not liking that. Okay, as soon as I fix this, then we're going to give this a dry. I didn't like the transition here. And actually around our shark, it's lighter than that. Constantly look at your reference photo. There we go. Good enough. Letting it be. I don't know how many times I tell you guys I'm going to let it be, and I never let it be. I always go back. All right. I'm going to look at chat. I'm going to grab my heat tool. I'm going to dry this. I'm going to lay it flat. I don't need it to move down now. So we are going to lay that flat, and it is buckled for sure. I mean, you guys can see. There's even some buckle to this board because it's just a chipboard, and I put a lot of water on that, and it absorbs it like a sponge. So there's that. It's frustrating. Definitely not my favorite paper. Okay, I'm really curious though for people that do colored pencil work. Oh, Shanna's still here. She does colored pencils and ink tints and things like that. Do you have any of the Strathmore Vision watercolor paper? That's what this is. If not, I'm gonna have to bring you some because I really want to see what you think of it for like colored pencils. If it's something that would be great or not, because it says cold press, but it's not a really bumpy cold press like texture. So we'll see. I was reading through the comments as I'm drying. So that's what I'm doing. And I got to this Rob's message. Yeah, so that message on Cape Cod, they have that on many beaches at Cape Cod, but there is a big sign at Chatham Beach because there's a lot of seals there. And yeah, don't swim near seals. Don't mess with the seals. Leave the seals alone. And oh, by the way, yes, Circle of Life, the great whites, they're up there. And I think it's like they peak in September, October is like peak time for that. So just had that thought today, Marty. I was like, I'm not going in the ocean because my bathing suit is black. That would be terrible. Okay, I have to laugh again because Rob says, which I asked, I said I didn't know, like, if they migrate or where they go or whatever, because again, shark knowledge is not my thing. I'm not falling down that rabbit hole. But Rob says they do migrate, they follow warm water, and I'm thinking, if they follow warm water, how the heck do they ever end up in New England at Cape Cod? Because Cape Cod and the Gulf of Maine, that water never gets warm. Never gets warm. It is always freezing. Joseph, Joseph actually went back a bit. Okay, what you said is not the word that your brain heard. Was it what I said? Like, I'm not gonna futz with it. Like, did I say that word when I was doing this? That is a word I use sometimes, but I didn't think I said that. It could very easily be misheard as something else. So YouTube, I said futz, F-U-T-Z. Oh my lord. And this is only taking so long because I put so much water on it. But Lily, I'm glad that it has helped. I hope you do give it another try. Yeah. Marty says, I like all the light changes in your reference photo. That was one of the things that drew me to it. I was like, okay, I want to paint this one. Hi, Cat's Art Picks. Okay. I think I'm just going to dry this a tiny bit more because it's puckered right here. And if I dry it, it'll shrink it right back down. So just a moment. Okay, more than enough of our time with that. Now, see how I said that it was pilled? If I brush that off now, it's gone. I mean, it goes away. If I kept messing with it when it was wet, it would have been, you know, a big problem. But now that that is dry, any of that little bit that had pilled, I just kind of brushed away like eraser marks. But yeah, the water in this one, and also that the shark doesn't have a ton of detail. I thought he would be pretty easy and kind of beginner friendly to go ahead and try to paint. So that's why we did that. Other terraces adds misting spray bottle to my wish list. So you guys know, like, how far back I am, wherever you guys are at. I'm trying to catch up. But yeah, I like these for bigger. This is the best fine mist spritzer. And I bought like a case of these, which is why I had sent them. Sometimes I send them to patrons. Sometimes I send random mail. You never know. You definitely want me to have your address. In fact, YouTube, I messaged YouTube because I'm like, hey, it'd be wonderful if people could opt in to provide their mailing address, because Patreon collects that information, but YouTube doesn't for the creators. And I'm like, I would like to send things to patrons. And so anyways, yeah, I'll be sharing that on Discord. And what I may do is create a mailing list that you can actually sign up for, where it's like a physical mailing list, if you're a member of the channel. And then I would just post a link for you to go ahead and sign up through the community tab, so you'd be notified. But those spray bottle, I love those misters. So I have this one I can adjust. It will do much bigger spatters. Then I have this one that's pretty, you know, it'll do like a variation. Of course it does. It's marked distilled water. And this one's marked distilled water because I have one. Is it that one? Yeah, see? Alcohol. So just so that I'm aware what I am about to spritz on my paper. So yeah, there's that. And I know that this one's not marked alcohol, it's water. But these are great. So this is a little bit bigger drop than this. This is a super fine mist. This does great. You notice it didn't even, like, it didn't give me round circles. It didn't push, gave a little bit more texture. Like, it almost looks granulated slightly from that, but not like round circles. So I like that one. Okay. Lily says, I wondered about misting and now I know. There you go. Now, some misting, I will say that, like what you just saw me do was a very fine mister. If I would have done it with this one, I would have had circles. It would be much bigger water drops, and that can be like catastrophe if you don't want that. If you want that, it's fine. I'll have to do a painting where I show you that, like what that causes sometimes, because play around with it. You take a piece of scrap paper and test it out. Okay. All right, let's see. I am like getting there. I just want to get through the chat and then we're going to paint our shark. We should finish him up today. Should be no problem. Oh, and wait a minute. Yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me see. Oh, yay. Yes, I'm glad you like it. And that is, we can thank our Dolphin Soul. I actually have a link. Dolphin Soul is going to be at SharkCon this weekend in Florida. So and she makes some amazing pieces. I actually have her link below because she is the one who inspired this today, and suggested that I paint a shark and reminded me that it was Shark Week. So thank you to her. But her website is actually linked in the description. I hope you guys will check it out because her portholes, she's been diving with the sharks and dolphins just recently, and she has taken some of her underwater photography of these animals way more up close and personal than I ever cared to want to be. But and she makes these amazing porthole frames, and literally you hang that on your wall and it looks like you have a porthole looking out into the ocean, like underwater. They're awesome. They're amazing. I think they're so cool. I'm like, when I redo my bathroom, I want some because I want to put it on there where I don't have a window. I'd like to put some portholes in there and do like a nautical theme. But anyhow, she's linked in the description below, so check that out. As is the photographer who took our reference photo today. That is linked in the description below also. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have not. Shanna says she just did her World Watercolor Month prompt. So bad. I like so much catching up to do. I can still catch up. I still believe. I'm still believing in myself that I can do it. You might have some in your stash, but you haven't used it yet. Let me know if you have some in your stash. I'd be really curious to know, speaking of the Strathmore, the paper that we're using today, the Strathmore Vision, that is this stuff right here. I would be really curious. And if you don't have some, I will bring you some the next time I see you, because yeah, I'd be really curious to what you think, because for a very wet wash for watercolor, I'm not a fan. Okay. Just trying to catch up through the chat. So I will definitely put markers in the description. So it'll be like intro and greetings. And then for those of you who want to watch on the replay and paint this with me, I will put where the painting starts. And as soon as I get through all the comments and get caught up and we start on the shark, I will put a timestamp for painting the shark. So you'll be able to find it quickly as you go through to paint along. And oh yes, I always try to mute the microphone, because I know some people watch on earbuds and that would just be way too noisy. I do have a different app that I can use that will like supposed to remove all of that noise, but does it actually always remove the noise? I don't know, but I do like to mute it so we don't blow out anybody's ears. Oh, Heather Bryant, who's probably long gone by now. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Rob. I saw it come in, and so I absolutely wasn't ignoring it. I saw it come in, and I wanted to make sure that I could like click on everybody that gets one and pop them up. And did you just did it again? So thank you again, Rob. Thank you again. And I'm looking for it to tell me, you know, this person was gifted a membership. Oh, well, I am glad. I am so glad, because yeah, I don't like to hear it. So, and I know, like, occasionally I watch with earbuds in and I'm just like, whoa, you try to take it out real quick. Like, some will warn you and that's fine, but yeah. They should have got, yeah, I didn't see things come in, Rob, saying like, oh, was gifted. Usually that pops up on my side of the stream too, and I'm not seeing it. Usually it pops it in so I can acknowledge everybody who was just gifted a membership. Well, if you were gifted a membership today by Rob, welcome. You have a super fan membership that gives you access to our Discord server. And yeah, I saw it. I did see it, and I apologize, I didn't acknowledge at the time. For allowing gifted memberships on this channel, there's actually a link in the description below. Joseph may be able to grab it and drop it in the chat. If you have not opted in to gifted memberships on this channel, I welcome you to do that. And then there we go. See, it tells me that you did. He says, I tried it again. Yeah, it's usually it auto assigns and it tells me on the stream, like, hey, this is who accepted them. Maybe YouTube did something weird. I don't know why they would not do that. So, Marty, you can try to, and I'm seeing that they're like disappearing, but you can try to click on the little thing right at the top of live chat where it shows the gift and the number 10. You can try to click on that and see if you can get one, but there is a link in the description for how you can allow gifted memberships on this channel. So if you're watching this on the replay too and you're like, hey, you know what? I would like to be opted in, because not everybody, it doesn't just gift to people who are here in the stream live. So if you're thinking, well, I don't get to attend live, so I'm never going to get one. That's not true. YouTube automatically chooses people who interact with the channel, watch the channel, comment on videos, things like that, and it gifts them out automatically, so I don't have any control over that. And thank you, Joseph just posted that, so I'm gonna pop it right there on the screen too for those of you watching on the replay. That's what you need to go to allow gifted memberships. So there you go. Okay, so hi Dr. Dax 821. I'm glad you made it. Are you guys ready to paint this shark? I am ready. Oh, Eagle. Eagle is asking about gouache and tips about gouache. I can tell you that in the very near future, we're going to be working with gouache. So I would say absolutely stay tuned. When you're using gouache, it's opaque. So you're able to layer up and paint over. I'm not going to remove the masking yet. We're going to do that at the end because I want to be able to paint his fin and then still have the white on the sides. I'm gonna need my glasses now for paint in there, like tangled in my hair. There we go. So anyhow, we are going to, oh my God. See, this is why, guys, this is why the curls don't ever stay down. And I only did it today because one, my morning was crazy. I had to let it dry on its own. Excuse me. And I've actually received things asking like, I just broke my glasses. Yep, I just broke my glasses. I better just work through the rest of the stream, and that's all that's necessary. Anyways, was asking like, hey, why do you never have your hair down? Well, because this is why. The hotter I get, like the bigger like all these curls get, and it grows exponentially, and it's heavy and it's hot, and so yeah. But I can't cut it off. Because if I take the weight off of these curls, my hair would fill this box that my face is in right now. It would get so big. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't paint with oils. So I don't paint with oils. I've actually done that once or twice. And no, it's just, at least then, was not the medium for me. I was always painting with acrylics at that time, and I preferred painting with the acrylics. And then somebody was like, you really need to try watercolor. And I was like, oh my God, no, I was scared to death of watercolor. I'm like, I can't do that. That was more Payne's Gray that I just popped down there because we are going to paint in our shark. I'm like so excited to get this shark going. And this is the sepia, and I'm just going to put a drop there. I won't need a lot. That's just going to be for when I want my darkest dark spots on him. So as far as gouache goes, though, I do love, excuse me, I love painting with gouache. You can absolutely layer it up. I have my size 6 round now. We are going to paint this shark. And I am going to, oops, I'm looking at him on my phone here, zoomed in. Okay, I'm just going to paint him from the top to the bottom. So anyhow, I love how you can layer gouache, but you want to be careful because once you let a layer of gouache dry, you can still reactivate it, right? It's watercolor. So yeah, we're going to be working with gouache soon. So if it's something that you would want to see more on, you know, turn on the notifications, get notified, come on back. Yeah, well, again, I did it this is what I do for patrons and channel members. I go in the sweltering heat of July with my hair down. But I was asked, you always have your hair up. Do you ever wear your hair down? What does your hair look like? This is what it looks like. All right, I need I need to be able to warm this up. I'm like trying not to put my hair in my work. So this is the alizarin. And I'm just going to put it over. You guys still can't see it even when I put it over there. I wonder if I turn this. You guys will be able to see that better. And hopefully this guy paints up quickly. If I need to make a darker color, I do have my little, these guys. So I may, like, if I need to mix a color, just mix it in here so it'll be handy. And then I have my rest. These are linked in the description below. I love these for just mixing a color, and then you can also rest your brush there. Not what their original purpose is for, but I love repurposing things for other things in the studio. Okay. Let's start. Now I'm going to paint him. I'm going to start painting him wet on dry. So not re-wetting my paper at all. And I'm just looking for how close he kind of comes to where I have my masking there. I can see my masking. You guys probably can't see it very well, but I can see it. That is perfect. I think that is going to be great for his dark color. So that is the Payne's Gray with just the tiniest bit of sepia. And now you won't see me just dip in because now that's very wet and I would take way too much over there. So yeah. And Rob, I will double check after. I was just thinking about, like, why did they not show all the, usually it tells us Rob gifts 10 memberships and 10 names start popping up in the live chat for who's received them so that I can acknowledge them on during the stream. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's not doing that. I want this lighter. So I just dip in my water, pull it off to the side. And actually this, remember I said I was going to need, like, kind of like purple. And there we go. I wanted something like purple that looked purple-like for where there's a highlight on him. I just, you know, assuming here. Again, I have no idea. I don't know. For those of you, I mean, can you tell if a shark is male or female by looking at the shark? Please don't. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. But I don't know. And I'm just saying him. Again, I named him Claude. So there we go. Yeah, in the summertime, I rarely ever have my hair down. I rarely, because it just grows and grows and grows and grows exponentially. But, you know, it was to answer a channel member's question. So there you go. All right, you're going to see me wet his body here in a moment because I do want to do some wet and wet. There's, like, can you see the little dot on the tip? I must have a fuzz or a piece of hair or something was stuck there. I just can't, looking at this reference photo, I mean, immediately I could hear the line from Nemo, right? Fish are friends, not food. So I dipped my brush into my water. I am covering this area. That made my paint much lighter. Again, I just dipped back in my water. And I'm going to come up through here. Around, he's got, like, his eyes right there. Because the reason I am doing this, just dipping in my water, because right through here, he gets lighter leading towards his mouth. And oh, I just went in my clean water. And he actually gets, it's like a really blue gray like color. So not a fan of this paper. Not with like, not with the way that I tend to work with my watercolor. He's got some highlights. I have to turn this. I'm sorry. Hopefully that doesn't, I know some people find it hard to watch when you all of a sudden turn it and they're seeing it sideways. Right now I'm really, this is very much a warm blue, leaning almost like, you see the purple showing up there on, well, at least I'm seeing it on my monitor, so I'm hoping that's what you guys are seeing. But I'm liking how that lightened up. See how it looks almost purple? Like he looks almost purple in the, his reflection looks almost purple. And I wanted that wet so that when I come back through with what I'm doing right now, like the edges will kind of blend. Right, so we can show some of that shape. Again, I just put my brush in some more water. This is a size 6 round. Doesn't hold a ton of water to start with. I want a lighter value there. I'm going to tap the very base of my brush like that. That's just drawing any extra water out of the belly of my brush. So when I come in with this, I don't flood my paper with paint and water. Yeah, so the answer to that is I don't see why it wouldn't. Give me just a second. Cat's Art Picks, and I will post that up to share that information with everybody. This is not as gray as I would like this more gray. I really want his mouth area wet. I'm wetting below where I'm working because right now I'm going to deal with a hard line that, see, these do re-wet well. But again, this paper will pill so darn fast. And I did have this very wet before because remember I wet the whole thing. So you see the pilling. Remember, like, if that happens to you, don't panic, don't freak out. You saw how it happened over here. If I ignore it and just kind of leave it be, I can brush it off later. Cat's Art Picks asked, where did it go? Right there. I have that. I don't see why it wouldn't. If it's gonna stick to, like, if it's gonna be archival over a colored pencil, which would be like oil and wax like based, I don't see why it wouldn't stick right to your paper. Because if you have watercolor on your paper, there's nothing that would, like, there's nothing that I can think of that would interact with it because the watercolor just absorbs into the paper. So I would think that you could. It wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, my first choice would be something like this. Like, I would save that product because it's more expensive for over colored pencil. But if you don't have this, then yeah. But Dr. Paige Martin's Bleed Proof White is one of my favorites for doing opaque white highlights after the fact. Right now I want a gray. So I've got my Payne's gray, not gray enough in my opinion, the sepia there, and still it's not neutralizing quite like I want it to. I really, hold on, I have some of the burnt sienna is right here, and I'm gonna give that a try. Can you, yeah, you can still see right here. See, that was some of that burnt sienna. I'm gonna grab some of the Payne's gray. It's giving me about the same. And I'm just bringing the water in because I want this very light. Under here is going to be very light. and have some of that blue in it. My water, I'm like going in my dirty water right now because I'm using my Mead rinse bowl. See, and my clean water, this side usually is the opposite, but you can see all the sediment that's in there. Yeah, I didn't clean my stuff very well the first time, but that's because in an effort to be more conscious, of how I'm disposing of my paint water, we had recently just emptied. I'm just wetting where I know I need the kind of gray bluish values here under the belly of our shark. Anyhow, we just recently emptied this like large peanut butter jar, and I intend to use that for my paint water disposal, because what you would do is when it settles and all the heavy pigments settle down in your water, you can pour off the surface water, right? It doesn't have all those pigments in it, and all those heavy pigments that we don't necessarily want, you know, down, especially if you have like a well and septic, I wouldn't put them down my drain. It's my intent to pour them into that big jar, leave the jar open so that they can evaporate, you know, the water parts can evaporate. Gosh knows it evaporates quite well here in the studio out of this rinse bowl. So anyway, and that's my intent, to start pouring them into that. And then once that jar gets full, and I'm sure it will take a very long time for that jar to get full. Okay, so this is just like a gray that I mixed there. I'm like really not happy with the pilling that you're seeing. That's like terrible pilling on this paper. And I'm just trying to be careful, just get my washes in as quickly as I can without too much brushwork. But yeah, and then once that jar gets full, I can actually take that and dispose of it properly, like a place that would recycle things like that, you know, like a recycling place. You'd have to check your local areas to find out where you would take like old paint, stuff like that too. There you go. We need darker under here. Yeah, so not pleased with this paper. This is terrible. The way that it's, I would paint him again on my Mead and watercolor paper, and it would be a whole different experience. I'm bringing in a little bit of that blue. I want this leaning a little bit more blue, coming in here like under where his mouth opens. His mouth is up here. These are just some of the darker spots under his body. So not happy with that. And I will have to dry that so that I can bring my darkest colors in. And that's where he'll start to, right now this looks like a mess, but that's where he'll start to take shape pretty quickly. So again, as you see me, you can't even see, like I'm pulling from where I had my gray, I'm just pulling some of that blue, that cobalt blue back down into it, which it says cobalt blue, but there's no cobalt. Not in these ones anyway. Like I have no problems using colors like that, you know, that the cobalts and the cadmiums, and I mean I'm not getting my hair in it and putting my hair in my mouth. I am not eating here in the studio. I am definitely not leaving the studio and eating before I've washed my hands even. So, you know, there's that. All right, this is a little strong. I need to lighten that up. So I just, in my water, I'm mixing back on my butcher tray. These butcher trays are linked below. They're really too much water on my brush. They are really very affordable. Definitely recommend them. I pulled the color out of my brush. I wanted it lighter as I went up. We have to bring that up, but that top edge will be dark because that's where his fin kind of, we're looking underneath it right now. Just like this one. This is like kind of looking underneath it. And it bled out a little bit. There we go. I lost some of my hard edge that I wanted to have there. I'll keep looking at my reference. Some of my lines have disappeared a little bit. It's going to be around like that. And this one's going to come down like that. Right now I'm just sketching with my brush so I can bring some of these marks back in. That needs to be a lot more blue now. There we go. This dark part, right? I want much more blue. Very cool blue. There's my red. I was like, where'd I put my red? I know it's here somewhere. Not quite purple, right? Just a touch of red. I'm just laughing at Joseph. I just saw Joseph's comment that his hair is down too. The wind will tie the knots. Oh, just my hair being down. It is already knots. It is very knotty. The struggle is definitely real. I've not heard of the Schmincke Aquafix medium. I have not heard of it. I'd have to look that up. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. I'm like, if anybody's used it, you have. So I hope that definitely helps Cat's art picks. Other Terra, these are the ones from the current curated collection. These are the Dr. P.H. Martin's Hydrus watercolors. These are light fast. And we are using from the set 2, we're using Cobalt Blue, Payne's Gray, Alizarin Crimson, and Sepia. And actually I just pulled a tiny bit of the burnt sienna. Sorry. Like, I need to dry this because now I'm going to come back with a lot of our darks, and I don't want this. I want this to be dry. I don't want it to bleed into that. I have paint on that I need to remember. So I'm going to mute and catch up with the chat. Okay, so you see where the pilling, I just brushed it away. So, you know, we're working with it. We're trying to overcome. But hey, Dolphin Soul is here. So that's who I was talking about. This video was inspired by her. Okay. I'm going to, oh, I needed to, that's all right. It's fine. All right, I'm going to start with this one and we're just going to work our way through and hopefully he will start to quickly come together. It's our darkest part of that one. And this one is darker as well. It's out like that. Ooh, yeah, he is going to take shape really fast. Well, I hope, don't blink now. Well, I don't paint that fast. But just saying. Trying to see where my line, hold on. My line goes to right there. Oops. Need a little bit bigger mark than that. Okay. Make sure I don't have my hand sticking straight up, blocking you from seeing. Yeah, about right now, I would see something like this coming at me and be panicking, like totally panicking. I would not be underwater that deep with things. No, no, no. My hat's off to all of you who can do it and love doing it. It is definitely not for me. So I'm kind of working, I'm going to work around, like there's a dark spot here that comes through the front of his nose. His nose. Okay, again, we've already discussed shark anatomy, not my thing. I'm calling it his nose. And he has got, oh, let me get his mouth in place because that is certainly going to help me. Yeah. Like that. Like some of my line had like disappeared. And here I was worried that those pencil marks would show up. So right now I'm painting very much wet on dry. My paintbrush is a little too dry, as was my paint. He's got a mouth. Tara said I would rather take my chances with a goldfish. Yes. Oh. Oh my goodness. I agree, Tara. Just saying. Like, you know, to each their own. And again, I am like, I'm amazed when I see, you know, if I see something where I actually have a highlight right there, right about where his eye would be. I'm just going to kind of work with that. There's like a spot where it skipped on the paper. Yeah, we're going to go with it. I need a little bit lighter value of that. So again, just dipped in my water, working that. I was just going like this in the palette, just so that I have a lighter value. So I'll bring down where this shadow. Grab my tissue here because this shadow comes like almost right into where his mouth is, but it is not. There we go. It was not that dark. I just want to keep it light. But up here, this is darker. Very much so. Not a lot of water on my brush. My paint was a little dry, but not a lot of water. Especially right now, I don't think this paper could handle it very well. Come around his eye. Go. And he's coming, like, his body is like this way and flattening this way. So remembering all of those planes that are like in existence right now, when you're painting, you're going to have things that are going like that and that. Right? And then it rounds under and then it's going away from us. And it was like making dry brush marks, which is not what I want. I just didn't have enough water in my brush, and I want it to be, I'm going to turn this again so you guys can see where I'm working. Working right here. Just want that to be lighter, and that is not, I'm going to come over here to this. I want something that's lighter in value. There. I want something that is going to be lighter, but also very warm. A very warm blue. See, I want to get a lot of that off my brush. So here comes around, and this is where, like, here's his head, and that body goes backwards. So I need to, about here, I want some more shadow right there. I'm trying to keep checking my reference. All right. Definitely. It's almost like I just want to say his armpit because, you know, whatever, but like his armpit right there. It's not an armpit, it's not an arm, so you know, there's that. There's that. Right, I'm not covering this whole area. If I look at that reference photo, he's not like that. And this is coming down. This comes in, and it actually comes. I gotta move this because I've got to do it like the way I feel his body move, right? I could feel his body is coming around this way. So it comes off of him. Oh, I just touched my paper. It comes off of him like this because that part of his fin, right? This is the top side. His body comes down. I'm like choking way up on my brush like it's a pencil. There we go. Because this kind of comes in. This is like that under part. And that kind of put some shadow under his body like that. I'm going to lighten this, what I have on my brush, I'm going to lighten it up. I'm going to come back and fill this area. And down here, we're going to get some more as it goes away from me. And he actually has dark line. Not necessarily that dark. It's just a little too dark. Again, I'm just kind of looking at my reference. Pull that up. I need that to be a little bit lighter, but I've got too much paint on my brush. So I'm going to come over and do this one. His body comes down. Fin comes out. Come around. And this too. I need that a little lighter. Oh, look at him starting to take shape. I just looked up. I'm like, oh, he looks. And Joseph, yes, I was just thinking that. I was so thinking that in my head. Oh my gosh, where did it go? Yeah, paint louder. I was like, you're not talking. I'm thinking that in my head. I'm like, you're not talking. That is hilarious. I was thinking that. His body comes around this way. And then it comes like down here. And this comes up to his tail. And obviously we're running over, but I am finishing him because now I'm starting to get excited about him. Like, oh, he's starting to come together. Sorry, I was pulling a Joseph. I was not painting loud enough. I'm teasing. For those of you who are like, what are you talking about? Joseph and Tara, our moderators, both have channels here on YouTube. Joseph streams every Monday. I definitely invite you to come on over and say hello. I moderate for him, so I'm there in the chat talking to you guys while we're waiting for him to paint louder because he forgot we were watching, or he got into painting and isn't talking to the you know, to all of us watching. Yeah, it happens. And to anybody who's like, why are you not talking? All I can say is sit down to paint and just start talking to a camera or like narrating it to somebody. Trust me, when you have to start concentrating, it's not so easy. It is not so easy. I am trying to leave, there's like a little tiny highlight right there. I'm trying to leave that light right in that space. You know, anytime we can leave the highlight naturally, it's gonna look better. Ooh, look at his tail starting to happen. Taking some of that Payne's gray I had over here, just bringing it in with this, where the purple was, to warm this up, because he is very, there we go, he is very, there's a warm blue. Okay, under here is quite dark. So while I have that fresh paint on my brush, I'm going to bring that in because it is darker than this little fin, I guess. I don't know, guys, seriously. I don't know. I am not claiming that I know shark anatomy. So if you're watching, you're like, cringe, oh, she just made that word up. Well, maybe. That's okay. Claude here doesn't mind. That is our shark's name. I have named him Claude. He is a French shark. I will not even, I heard myself almost go there. I was like, no, you will not do. You will not insult the entire French culture and throw out some awful, awful French accent. So sorry, people. I will not do that. But he is Claude. I've named him Claude. He is Bruce's cousin. Dolphin Soul has told me he is not a great white. I do not know what kind of shark he is. You know, if you know, I would love it. Drop me a comment. Let me know. What kind of shark is Claude? He's a fancy shark. He likes long swims off the coast of France. Can you swim off the coast of France? Well, I sure do hope so, because another thing, you know, I am an artist, not a world geographer. World geography is definitely not my thing. It was never my thing. I'd have to study so hard when I took world geography in school. And I can honestly say that the brain held that knowledge long enough to spit it back out for an exam. And that was about it. So yeah, there's that. And I painted out, he's got a, oh, I messed up your tail fin, bud. It's supposed to come in and then it comes out, like out. All right, we're making this up as we go because my line is not there. And there we go, right? It goes out like that. Well, possibly down further, but whatever. It's there now. That's how it is. And Claude doesn't mind, so he doesn't want you to either. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're gonna bring that back. I've got to darken some of these values up a little bit, but there is just a tiny bit that I want to leave like almost highlighted because, again, this is not a flat part of his body. Oh my gosh, I just picture them being very muscular and able to swim way faster than I can, which again, you know, they don't come hang out in my yard, and I'm not going to go swim in theirs. That's just me. I think all of you who do are just absolutely amazing. Swim with the sea creatures. All right. That one doesn't need to be darkened up more. I think we have our darks in. Now we just need to kind of smooth them out. Let's get him smoothed out. And we will call this one done. So again, I'm in my water because I want that same color, but just a lighter value. So that is a much lighter. Now, I'm going to take that water out of my brush because there's plenty of water here. Yes, you're amazing. Oh my gosh. Dolphin Soul just recently went on a trip, and she did swim with the sharks and the dolphins, and some amazing pictures. And again, I said it earlier, I'm telling you guys, go, the link is in the description. Go check out her site. It is, there is some amazing pieces that she has created. It is absolutely worth a look. All right, I needed darker value because right here he kind of comes like this, and he has a darker mark. It is not as light, and that comes down, right? Because that's like where his body is going way back to that tail fin. So yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, yay, good job. Thanks, Amanda. So now you can just come on over, and yeah, both Tara and Joseph's channels are linked in the description. And you come on over and chat with me there on Mondays. I say chat with me on Mondays. It's all about me, Joseph. Come and enjoy Joseph creating wonderful art, and I will chat with you while he does so. Oh my gosh. I was like, oh no, that wasn't just a little anyways, I'm gonna stop talking now. No, then you'll just need me to paint louder. This paper, oh my gosh, this paper. I'm like, this would never happen. This was my medium watercolor paper. This would never happen. Never happen. It would not pill like this. If you guys have not tried that, that is absolutely the watercolor paper I do recommend. It is 100% cotton paper. Now, full disclosure, yes, I do collaborate with Meeden. I am an affiliate, but I can say, I did use their paper before all that happened, and I do very much like it. Okay. So, not liking how this stuff pills up. Like, I guess I didn't do projects, like, since we've used this, and started this curated collection, I guess I haven't done enough projects where it was like really wet, because I would have known. Save this for another stream, because this paper will really have, it's had me being conscious of my words a couple times. I'm just gonna say that. You know, there's certain things that I just don't say on YouTube. It's a family-friendly show, folks. I am actually just going to paint with my, I'm going to kind of smooth him out with my paint water. It's really quite blue. It's going to be very, very light, but I think more than enough for what I need. Oh, we have to remove that. Remember the masking? We got to remove that. Like, this is too light. He actually needs color, more color there. That's way too light. I mean, yes, he's supposed to be lighter in that area, but not that light. Not that light. I would so do this again. This is like probably one of the animals that would be painting, like the animal I would be like, well, I mean, no. Okay, finish the thought. One of the animals I'd be most afraid of, which is probably so unfounded, right? Jaws just did us all in. Thanks, Richard Dreyfuss. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, like, it gave sharks a bad reputation. I know shark attacks happen, but how often do you actually hear about shark attacks? It's not like... I would say I probably have a better chance at being in the ocean and being left alone by a shark than, say, if and again, I could be totally wrong, and it's fine if you guys let me know. But then if I were, like, say, to be out, on like an African safari and encounter a lion, I don't think the lion is going to ignore me like a shark might ignore me. Or you know, any other land animal for that matter. I'm not gonna walk up on a bear either. At least I hope I don't. But yeah. So anyways, they probably have been given a very bad rap by the movie industry. I'm just putting in some more shadows, and I'm quickly blotting up because I don't want it to spread too far, but I do want to give more shape, and like his body is definitely going away from us. And I do want to define this line a little bit more where it kind of goes back there. There we go. Oh, look at him. I want, that was purple, and I want just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Because it's light, but it's not quite that light. So yeah, keeping that highlight going, but not quite that light. And this side would actually be a bit darker. All right, just refining some of the last little bits. We're going to take that masking off. We're going to dry him, and I think we're going to call him done. But oh my goodness, if I were to do him again. Oh, thank you. You guys are, that's excellent. I'm like, where did it go? Right there. And of course, fantastic. I love it. Let's see, this one right here, like, that's actually a little too dark, but he is what he is now. And I would almost make it a little bit more blue, like looking at like this blue right here, like he needs some of that blue in him. Let me just, that's going to be, oh my gosh, this darn hair, this blue right over here. I want this really thin. I just want to do a wash because he's not getting the reflection that I want. I mean, come on, the paper's already having its issues, so why not? I think he needs some of this. I just think he needs some of this color in here because he, oh my god, see, you don't, you can't, yeah, I like that better. Because it's picking up some of that color. And right under here as well. That was a very diluted mixture of the cobalt blue. Yep, oh, I'm liking that a little bit better there. Yes, I just painted you a blue mustache. So I'm putting it on and I'm dabbing because it says cobalt blue, but it has phthalo. So we're just glazing that over. And phthalo is very staining. So when I do that, I can quickly dab that up. But the phthalo is still going to be there. There's still going to be, see, you still very much will see that value. We definitely need to, oh, his tail is a little, just slightly darker than that. I never finished like darkening that part up. There we go. That's better. Because the lighter parts are his like underbelly. All right, so in 2 weeks, we will be the regular time next week. So I will see you all here again next Thursday. We are going to be painting with something brand new. I haven't picked it yet. I haven't picked the one, what it's going to be. All right, I like that better with the blue in there. With that cobalt-like blue in there. He definitely was needing a bit more of that, especially with it being right here underneath him. Right? If he is white, he's going to reflect. I can definitely tell you, not at all one of my favorites or one of my best, but I would absolutely paint him again. Like, that was excellent. We need to dry that. We need to take our, we need to bring that brightest white highlight back that's right there. So let me give this a quick dry, double check chat, make sure I haven't missed anything. There you go. You're welcome, Amanda. I was like, oh, I can answer that question even without talking. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate all the compliments. Thank you very much. Okay. Right? Thank you. I was like, yeah, he needs, that wasn't, definitely not, it's still not dark enough. When I was drying him, I was like, yeah, that's still lightened up a little bit too much. Oh, and I just, see, I took the glasses off. I told you I broke them. I forgot I wasn't supposed to take them off. They're done now because the screw has come out, and now you're going to see me like weird eyes trying to, I'm trying to see to finish this little part, especially once I've had them on. I usually, like, I actually don't need glasses. I have almost perfect vision, but because of my fibro, the muscles that control the eye to focus, they get tired sometimes and they don't want to work right. So I only need glasses sometimes. This needed to be darkened a little bit on the edges. This needed to be darkened a little bit more as well. Take that fin there. Okay. Dab that one up just a bit because he has a little bit lighter right there. Okay. I think we're going to leave him like that. I would absolutely, this would have come out even better. Okay, here we go. We're going to remove that masking because our brightest white highlight from our water, the only spot here that looked actually white was like right there. And again, like I said, there were other little spots on the, I got my Dr. Peach Martin's Bleed Proof White. I'm not going to do his eye because I think that little spot where I left it, I think I actually left a little bit too much light right there, but without my glasses, I can't get in that fine detail. Oh, there's blue on that. There's blue in my brush. I just got blue in my lid. I'm just going to pull that out. Put it on my palette. There we go. I'm going to put just a couple little spots, right? A couple little... maybe one or two spots like here or there near him, but I don't want them, I'm not going to put them way out here. Like they're actually, if you see in the reference photo, it's like as we go out that way, you see a few like white highlights, but I don't want to detract from him. I want to keep all the focus right here. So I want my lightest part here. I could even have gone darker with this. And I could come back with another wash if the paper would handle it. This paper won't handle it. If this was my Meeden paper, it would have handled everything I threw at it. That was a lot of water. But I've had a lot of water like that before, and with the Meeden paper, handles it just fine. So there is our shark reference. I'm going to make that go away. Let's peel the paper on this, or peel the tape on this one. See what we've got. I'm like, which one went on last? I don't even know. There we go. The top one did. Always peel away from your painting. If your tape is like feeling like it's going to stick, I'm just leaving that on the board. I'll get that off the board later. I just want to get it off the painting. If your tape is feeling like it's not going to release, just warming it up with your heat tool or your hair dryer. I knew I was risking it when I folded it back over on the back of that chipboard. As far as it not wanting to come off the chipboard, it'll come off this paper just fine. I'm using the Meeden masking tape today. I love it. It does tend to release very cleanly for me. There was a little bit of the color seeped under, and I could touch that edge up with like the Dr. Peach Martin's Bleed Proof White if I wanted to. I'm not going to worry about it with this one. Just want to get it off the board, and I'll sign it. Thank you for sticking around. Thanks for hanging out and watching this one through. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's Shark Week. If you guys love Shark Week, hit that like button. If you like live streams where you can paint along or see art created in real time, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, that might be something you'd consider. There we go. If you were gifted a membership today, and you use Discord, you get so many amazing perks over on Discord. There's definitely a lot more interaction with me that happens over on Discord. I invite you to come on by. All right, I'm going to sign, and hopefully this is going to work. I hate white gel pens with a passion. And of course, I can't put my glasses on. I think I'm going to sign them on this corner. Like, I can't see to touch up any of my lines because I don't have my glasses on. I literally broke where the side connects, and I had two of those pair of glasses, and the other one broke in the exact same way. Yeah, I absolutely don't like gel pens, but so next week we will be streaming at the exact same time as always. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I bet that would work, Tara. I didn't see, if I would have seen that beforehand, I so would have done that. Thank you so much, Dolphin Soul. I appreciate that. So look at that. I mean, I just love when you peel the tape and you get that nice clean border. This, I had already ripped this paper. The tape did not do that. That was me trying to take it off the pad. But I wasn't worried because, again, I said if I matted this one, I would mat it like an 8x10. And so since this is 12, it's going to come in an inch on each side, which I didn't consider that when I signed, did it? So it would be come in more on this side because of where I signed. But that's okay. It'd be like there. Or, yeah, it's, who knows. Anyhow. Or get cut off altogether. And I would just sign it someplace different. So, thank you. Tara says Claude looks great. Okay, just double checking. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. I agree. It's the most satisfying part. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. Yeah, and so Tara had said if I had caught that, what about dipping the dip pen right into the bleed proof white? So that was an add-on that I did because you can absolutely, and if you have missed the other 2 videos that go along with this current curated collection, I included a dip pen as an add-on because with the Dr. P.H. Martin's, you can absolutely use them with one of these. And, you know, I bet that I could dip it into my bleed proof white and write with it. We're going to have to try that another time because maybe that's how I will sign my work when I need a white mark versus a gel pen. So super excellent idea, Tara. I'll have to give that a try and I'll post a picture over on the Discord for those of you who are over there. Honestly, if this was a paper that I could have kept throwing color at, I would have kept going on the background. I stopped because it was doing so much pilling. But you see, I mean, I was able to brush it off. And a lot of that, you know, it's fine. But I absolutely would have darkened it up because our reference photo, it's a little bit darker, but all in all, I like it. I like the way he turned out. I painted an animal today. Like I did that. So yeah, it was not a landscape. It was a seascape with a creature in there. So anyways, Berlina says it looks amazing. I'll definitely watch the replay. Excellent. I hope that if you guys watch the replay that you might even paint along. I will put the timestamps in there for when we actually started painting after we were done with the hellos. And when I started painting the shark, so that at that time when I finished and I started drying with the hairdryer, you could just jump to the next chapter and be able to go right into painting the shark. So I hope you will watch the replay and paint this one. And if you do, tag me and let me know. Dolphin Soul, yeah, says gonna pack for SharkCon. So see you in Discord. Thank you for the inspiration. If anybody's going to SharkCon, make sure you look for Dolphin Soul. She is going to be there. Her link is in the description below to check out her work. It's amazing. Thank you so much for inspiring me to do this because I have to say, this is not something I would have chosen to do myself, but I'm so thrilled that I did it. So again, check out our moderators' channels. All of their stuff. See how much it's grown just by it's grown. Hit that like button and subscribe. And you know, if you enjoy art and hanging out with a fun art community, maybe consider becoming a channel member because we would love to have you. Thank you so much to all the channel members and patrons. We are having a blast. Next Thursday, we're going to be working on something with a different paint. This was the last for our curated collection. We are also, it'll be different paint. And then Friday is the live Zoom hangout for studio members. So studio members, next Friday, I will see you. But yeah, I think that's all the updates. And next week is the last one at my regular time. So next week I will let you guys know when the stream will be happening going forward. Still going to happen every week. It'll still happen at a regular time. It'll just be a different time. So I hope that you can join me. And who knows, maybe there will be more people that are able to join us and have some fun and say hello. So I'm going to pop another video up right about there. For those of you who are watching on the replay, until next time, my friends, keep creating, and I will see you in a video real soon. Bye, guys.